Hello there! I'm Scotty. You're not. Here's a video I didn't expect to make anytime soon, but the things you gotta do when your Blu-ray player's not working and you can't move forward with what you're planning on doing yet. If I'm not able to get a Blu-ray player this week, I might have to just bite the bullet and do some others. I have a backup plan should I need to, but we'll see. Anyway, and trying to figure out what I was gonna do. I was doing the roll it, I review it stuff, which was good, and I still intend to do Uncle Buck, but I needed a break from that. It really was only supposed to be for the weekend, and ended up just being the weekend plus Pootie Tang. Sabotage. But here's a guy who didn't like the movie. He keeps quoting that. Anyway, so as I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do, all credit to Johnny 2000 here on YouTube. I'm like, I haven't watched one of his videos in a while. I don't know why. I just sort of, I don't know. But I saw he had something on the Naked Brothers Band, which is not as dirty as it sounds. It's Nat and Alex Wolf, and they created this band that they called the Naked Brothers Band because I believe the excuse was, hold on. When they were kids, both their underwear fell off, and so then they called themselves Naked Brothers or something like that. Something like that. So it was a show based on a movie. Technically, they aired a TV movie called The Naked Brothers Band Movie, which was a documentary style thing. Like The Office. It's that kind of style, but better. Here's a guy who's only seen one episode of The Office and then turned it off. Why am I John Madden if played by Frank Caliendo all of a sudden? Here's a guy who's honest. Now he's doing the voice. Thanks, John. Anyway, so they did the movie. It went over well, and so they did a TV show, which lasted 3 seasons. And you may be asking, Scotty, weren't you a bit too old to be watching that show? And I say, no. I mean, what do you mean? This came out in 2007, and I was the very young age of 20. But my brother watched it, and I watched it with him. And it's kind of because we're brothers. So, No, hey, I like a show, I watch it. I don't care. Here's a guy who liked the Wiggles and yet said he watched it because his brother watched it, and his brother didn't even watch it. John Madden, you are ruining me. When did I start doing that anyway? Where did that come from? The Wiggles were funny. Okay? The original ones, not the new ones. No. The original 4. I even liked the guy that took over for Greg. He was fine, but then they just replaced everyone. They're silly. Never mind. I think they kept the blue guy for a while. But anyway, so the show went on for 3 seasons. Hey, by the way, for someone of my age, there was a reason to watch it. Jessie. She's older than me. She was 23 when the show started. Now she's like 42. So, yeah. There's a reason to watch the show. And it was always her. Okay? I'm just saying. But I did get into the show. I had the first season on DVD and I had the first 2 soundtracks. The show kind of disappeared. I remember that, the airing thing was weird. The first 2 seasons aired normally. Like, they were regular episodes, right? With a couple specials. There was like a couple concert specials in season 2. Season 2 kind of gets a bit of a bump. We'll get to it. And then season 3 aired strangely, as they were just specials. They aired specials, and they were sporadic throughout the end of 2008 and beginning of 2009. It just sort of... And then it was just gone, done. There was no more. And we don't know why. I know why now, because there's a reason here on Wikipedia, but yeah. And I watched these on Paramount Plus. You know, I have season 3 on my Xbox, because my plan was to rebuy season 1, get season 2. Because I got a friend of mine into it. We were the same age, and we got into it. We thought it was funny. And Jesse. So he had season 2, and I had season 1. I know it's weird, but yeah. And they never released season 3 on DVD. So, yeah. And I do remember watching some episodes live on TV. I remember the County Fair concert one, and the one before it was at the County Fair. And some of the season 3s that I watched live, I recorded some back in the day on VHS, so I don't know. But the show is stylized as a documentary, which means, and sometimes they forget this, even if they mention it in the same episode, they forget about it and don't even put it in, that the cameras are on them all the time. All the time. There are issues with that, especially in the season 1 finale, where I was just screaming like, "What are you doing?" Right? Especially in an earlier episode, there was a plot point that happened. But let's go over the cast first. The main cast. We have Nat Wolff as himself. Nat Wolff, you may know, he did some things. He was in that Death Note movie that I liked. Nobody else did. I thought it was... Though I hadn't seen the anime at the time, I've only actually watched one episode of the anime, so don't hate me. But I'm a fan. I'm a fan after watching that movie. And I did watch the anime. It's just been, you know. And he's in that with Paper Towns, was the movie with him and Cara Delevingne. Then there's Alex Wolff, who's in the new Jumanji movies and Hereditary. His face got smushed on a desk. Yes, then he got taken over by a demon. His name was Paimon, or Puman, or whatever. Paimon. The Eldritch God in the bedroom says Paimon. He knows gods. Yes, I do. Anyway, yes, and they're brothers. At the start of the show, Nat is 11 and Alex is 9, I believe is what it is. So they're, you know. And Nate is Nate. They call him Nathan at one point. Nat is the lead singer, and he sometimes plays the keyboards and sometimes guitar. And then Alex is the drummer, and he also sings lead on some songs. Then you have Thomas, who's played... They all play themselves except for Rosalina, strangely enough. But Thomas is the cellist. Sometimes he plays the bass. Then there's David Julian Levy, which I know because it's in a song. I don't know. And he is the keyboardist. And often gets paired with the other two. Kasim is the replacement for another character from the movie named Josh. Which, when the show first started, I hadn't seen the movie. I didn't watch it till years later. I was like, okay, now I understand what it is and stuff. And he's the only black character on the show. Oh, there's other black characters. His mom. There's Alex's friend. Going down so I can find it. Juanita, who kind of disappears around season 3-ish. Like, they make the movie and then she's gone. There's a movie. We'll get it. And then there's Cooper. Not my mom's dog. He's the manager. And, of course, the aforementioned Jesse. who is. It's a strange thing because they often hired their family members to play roles. So Jessie is actually the Wolf brothers' cousin, but she's playing their babysitter, who Alex also calls his girlfriend. But she's 23 and he's 9, so. Michael Wolf plays their dad, also known as Sonny Wolf. And he's a pain in the butt. No, he is. Well, for the first half of the show, he is. During the first season, he's constantly trying to work his way into acts with his accordion. They do this storyline where he meets a woman named Betty, who is even worse than he is. And they're trying to do their own thing called the Honey Bunnies, and they suck. And then they do a thing in the middle of season 2 where she's just gone. She leaves. I'm gonna go through season 2. We'll get it. And then she does come back one quick, which was obvious to realize it was gonna be her. But once she leaves and everything, it kind of resets his character. And while he still likes to play the accordion and do stuff, he's more of a supportive father character than just they have to write something for him to do kind of thing is what it feels like. And I forgot to mention Rosalina, the love interest of the show and the bass player, played by Ali D'Amico, the only one not using her real name, because apparently I think they just wanted to have a different name. I don't know. She's the only one that doesn't have a real name. Other recurring characters are the music video director guy, played by Daniel Raymond. He plays 3 different characters and is responsible for why I call this show Nigga Brother Bundle. He plays a character during the first season who is a director. Then during season 2, they introduced a character named Wing, also him. And he's the reason why I call it Naked Brother Bundle, because that's what he calls them, the Naked Brother Band, Naked Brother Bundle. He's also responsible for how I now pronounce Dancing Girls. I don't know, I've been saying that the last couple of days. Dancing Girls. We need more Jessie. Yes, I agree. There's Tuffy, who doesn't show up till the tour in season 2. And that tour. Joe Schmoke is the principal. And he is actually played by Tim Draper, who is Jesse's dad and their uncle. But he's just the principal. And then we have the adorable Timmerman brothers. And I'm looking at this. So they're brought in as a former boy band who grew up, went through puberty, and now are no longer popular. They had a song called Splishy Splashy Soap Bubbles, Makes a Bubble Rainbow, or something like that. And then they hit puberty and it's all bad. And all 3 of them end up dating Jessie at the same time. Yeah, Jesse's a bit of a... but the problem is, I found out they're actually all played by cousins of Nat Wolf. And what's worse is Jesse's brother, Jesse's cousin. It's a family thing. You know, yeah. Tila Dunn is Juanita, who is Alex's friend. Kind of interest for 5 seconds, but they don't ever go that far. And then there's Betty, played by Catherine Curtin. And I said about Betty I want to talk about. And then there's Miss Scoggins, who's introduced as Cooper's love interest in the first season television movie Battle of the Bands, which is the season finale. We're going to talk about that. And then there's Tessie and Bessie, who are Jesse's sisters, never mentioned until season 2 when Wing needs Dancing Girls. So, yeah. And then there's Christina, who she's season 3 will cheat, yeah. Then there's a bunch of guest characters like Matt Pinfield, who I was shocked to find out was actually a real person and not a character made for the show. Hope he's not as terrible as he is on the show. Snoop Dogg, for shizzle. Ryan Seacrest, because he's in everything. George Lopez. Tell you that. Kelly Price, don't know who that is. Albie Hecht, I guess she's a producer. Some of these I don't know. Joel Madden, I know him. An episode that's not on Paramount Plus. We'll get to that one. Tony Hawk, I know him. Phil Collins, I know him. And there's Miranda Cosgrove, Natasha Bedingfield, Whoopi Goldberg, Leon Thomas III. Yeah, I screamed like his grandma when I saw him. Andre! Yeah. Victoria Justice. Tobin Esperance from Papa Roach. David Tell, who I just talked about in Sabotage Pootie Tang. David Desrosiers, the Simple Plan. Desrosier. Questlove. Simon Kirk. Drummer from Bad Company. Okay. So, yeah, the show aired Saturday nights on Nickelodeon in the Teen Nick line, I believe is what it was. And so while actually only the second season has a through line, and it ends halfway through the season. It's kind of weird. I got an itch. It didn't pause. Hold on. All right, so now what I'm going to do is go through the episodes. And if anything stands out, where's the plot? Here. Episodes. Okay. Not the movie. Okay, so after watching season 2, I was like, because the first episode was the VMAs, the Video Music Awards. So it's like, wouldn't it have been something, because the whole episode was them working up to them going to the VMAs, and if they were going to win or not, which they already spoiled at the beginning of this episode that they were going to win. But anyway, they got Best Rock Video, and they performed Banana Smoothie, which is their song. We'll get to the music a little bit later, but yeah, I thought about this afterwards. I'm like, wouldn't that be something if the whole season was working up to that? Something to like making the movie. Like the third season has a through line, but it's all over the place in the middle as they get to the premiere of their movie that they're making. And the third one's about them. Second season's about them getting ready to go on tour. So they don't really have anything to work towards in this one. It just the Battle of the Bands just happens at the end. They don't mention it until then. But the second episode is about making a music video, which is where Alex. I think this is where Nat is a genie, but they dress him in green. And then when they do the video, he's dressed in purple. But then he's wearing green while they're playing the music because they shot that before. I don't know. Nat is a stand-up guy. He wants to prove that he's funny. More funny than Alex, so he's going to do stand-up. George Lopez is also there. His first appearance on the show. Or like 3 appearances. He's, yeah, this is the one, Catch Up with the End, that has the line in it. Running like a chicken without its head. So the director has Alex running around with a green mask over it while wearing a chicken suit. I give you a chicken without his head running. It's not supposed to be a happy song, no. He doesn't understand it. Fishing for Love. See, there's not a lot in these ones that are just... they spent a day at the beach. Alex's clothing line. Oh yeah, he makes a clothing line. Moo. In the movie, he was addicted to soda, but I guess that's not good for kids, so now he's addicted to milk, which is not really mentioned after this season, I don't think, but... Puberty is the episode where the Timmerman brothers come in. Now, when does Betty show up? Because Betty shows up at some point. Puberty. Okay. All right. Okay. So we're it's not till puberty. Rebel and the Skateboarder. That episode that introduces The Timmerman brothers are still there for some reason, and Jesse's dating all three of them. They play it up in the Timmerman one where it's like she thinks there's only one, and then all three of them ask her out. We know there's three because they already showed it to us, but she doesn't know that. And she ends up dating all three and decides to keep dating all three. Jesse's a bit of a hoe, as we'll find out in season 2. And then there's a rebel on a skateboard introduces Juanita, who Alex doesn't realize is a girl at first. A man needs a maid introduces Betty, who is brought in to be a maid, but then realizes that they're a rock star band and thinks Sonny is the rock star and starts dating him, even though to find out that he's not. They still continue to date because they want to know people as much as they can. You have something to know the parents, right? There is a first kiss on the lips, that is. When Nat and Roseanne find out the kiss in the music video, the two are nervous for reasons. Because their love interests. Long distance relationships will kill you. Yeah, this is the one where they introduce Patrice, who's in this episode and not mentioned again. And she's the one that's supposed to kiss him, but then, like, no. Because, like, it's supposed to be Rosalina that she pulls out because Patrice makes her feel, oh, he's younger, he's too young for you. And then she tries to pull a fast one to get in, but it's another girl. So, the song. This is the one that pull at your heartstrings, okay? The song, Nat and Alex are trying to write a song for Juanita. She's in a foster family, so they're going to write a song for her. And they both end up writing a song that is revealed that, because Alex wrote it, but then Nat also wrote it, and they're like, this is the plot point. They're like, hey, look at Muhammad's camera, and show proof that I wrote it. So he's in the shower and he's singing it. Alex is in the shower. He's like, hey, Muhammad, I got this song. I'm going to sing it to you before I forget it. But then Alex also recorded himself playing it, and they run back the times. It's the exact same time. And then they find out, actually, they didn't write it. It was a song their mom, who in the show was Deed. In real life, she's fine. She directed most of the episodes. A lot of the episodes, actually. Betty, Dad and Betty are going steady. They didn't want to get a puppy. They get a hypoallergenic dog named Lucky, which is the name that they wanted for their dog. But I like this how Nat and Alex Stats reveals to them that their mom, who died but not in real life, wrote and sang the song to Nat and Alex when they were very young. They have to emphasize that on Wikipedia. But yeah. And then they play the song for the benefit. And it makes you tear up a little bit, you know, dead mom and stuff. But what gets me, irritates me a little bit, is that during the song, Jessie starts singing. Like, she's mouthing the words. I'm like, but she wouldn't know the song. So, I don't know. Battle of the Bands! Battle of the Bands! I didn't realize this was right after each other. That makes it even worse. So, the Battle of Bands is that the LA Surfers, a rival band with a British lead singer guy with a little orange in his hair, shows up. And it seems that Rosalina has a bit of a crush on her. So, Nat decides she's going to try to be like him, dressing like him, put a little orange streak in his hair. But she thinks she's being punked. So he goes to clean it off. And he and Alex get interrupted with the cameraman and have to hide in the stall. Where the British guy comes in and reveals he's not actually British after all. No, he's faking it. And he, you know, the whole thing. And he doesn't write his own songs either. And so then, after this, he sees Nat and is like, orange hair. That was you spying in the bathroom, wasn't it? And I'm like, no, this dude ain't that smart. I'm sorry, that dude's not smart to figure that out. He thought it was something wrong with the water. And then it's like, oh, orange. It must be. No, he's not that smart. I'm sorry. No. But here's the thing. They try to tell Rosalina. First of all, Alex was a witness. But he tries to tell Rosalina the truth. And she doesn't believe him. And the whole time I'm going, show her the camera footage. You just made a plot point in the previous episode about showing the camera footage. And even later in this two-part special, they say that they're always being filmed. Because the British dude is not British goes, where's your camera guy? I know there's always a camera guy filming you at all times. And I'm like, that they're pointing out their plot hole with big red arrows. That at any given point, they could just show Rosalina the footage and prove that they're right, but they don't for plot purposes. And then it starts going around that Nat doesn't write his own music, which I don't think she believes, but it's still going around. And he tries to say it was him, but she don't believe him because that's what the plot is. Right? So then it all comes to a head when she tells Bobby what happened and what the band said about him. And she throws her music away in the garbage. But wouldn't you know it, he's there to pick it up. But, he takes it out and he sings their song, horrible cover. Horrible cover. It's terrible. And they don't have a song anymore. And, they're all mad at Rosalina except for Nat, who understands. And he's like, I understand. No, we don't. It's like, yeah, it was kind of an accident. She didn't mean to do it. But it turns out this kid is afraid of balloons. So they pull the whole thing of balloons and he freaks out. And he's not British. Even the dude in his band's like, you're not British? I think not. No, he talked to him without his British accent earlier. But then they sing Girl of My Dreams, which of course is about Rosalina. And they win the battle of the bands, which that Butthole Surfers, or whatever they're called, should have been disqualified for using a song. Because even Miss Goggins knew it was their song. She's running this thing, right? Why couldn't she say, no, I know that's not your song, you're disqualified? Because she's going, that's your song. I know. I'm like, aren't you in charge of this thing? Why can't you disqualify them? I don't know. Season 2, Alien Clones. I forgot about Alien Clones. That should be the finale, but we have Alien Clones with probably the only song that Alex does that's not good. He has a really good song earlier in the season. I could be anything I want to be. I could be anything I want to be. And then we have Alien Clones. No, thank you. There's no good song. But this is a weird one. He thinks Jessie is an alien clone because she wrote Gus 4E on her arm. And even after Rosalina proves that it's not, he still thinks it's an alien clone. And I don't know, it's a stupid episode. Season 2 starts with Sidekicks, where there's a dance that's going to happen for the middle school kids and the high school kids, because Rosalina is now in high school because she's 14. So, there's a high school prom, which I guess this aired in January, so, and they're in the middle school party, and they're going to dress as superheroes, but they all end up being sidekicks anyway. Did I have it written down? Because I don't remember it all. But Alex goes as Bassif Man, Bat, Aqua, Super, Fantastic Four Man, or something like that. Something like that. I have all the powers, now you have to be the sidekick or something like that. I don't know. But then there's also at prom, which freshmen don't usually go to proms, but that kind of pushes her to do it. She doesn't want to. She's asked by some dude, and he kind of pushes her into doing it. And then Patrice shows up and is like, Nat, you're coming with me. Again, freshmen don't usually. And she's going to premiere the Naked Brothers Band music video that they did, that they cut her out of because she's not important. And they end up being sidekicks and singing the song. And David and Thomas have to rewrite graffiti that they erased from the wall because the principal, Schmoke, wrote it on there. It's about how cool he is. It's obviously he wrote it, but it's a nice open. Great Trip is an episode that's disjointed because you have a plot line first where they're opening dog food to win a contest for 3 people, which I obviously be an adult and 2 kids, and they want it to be Jesse. Oh, I like to go on a trip with vacation with Jesse. Now Alex. Well, David's the one that finds it, so they have a contest because he has a dog named E.T. It's a girl too, and so they have to decide who's going with him. So, and it's like one kid because they're going to bring an adult with. And it ends up being, this is a bit bogus, but it's like, Nat gets picked because he's the only one that fits the criteria. Everyone else kind of has problems. And then it's like, and then Alex is like, you're bringing my Jesse with you? Actually, no, Dad's coming with. Well, why does he get to go with? And that's where the song comes in. David Julian Levy, which is in the song, and the live performance episode that they do, he points to him when he says it, which it's a weird one to do live because it's not one that they actually perform on the show. It's one that's playing during the montage. The other half of this episode is Alex being what's the word? A sergeant says sergeant. Dictator is more like it until everyone comes back because he's in charge of the band. So 3 is enough is an episode that proves Jesse is a hoe. Because Cooper's going out on a date with Miss Scoggins. And so they get Nat to go on a date with Rosalina to go with them. It's not really a date, but then Jesse, already dating the Timmermans, asked out the new neighbor underneath, who doesn't speak very much English and can really only say okay. Yeah. And she's like, well, I still date you guys too, but I'm gonna go out with him. And I'm like, you a hoe, woman? What the hell? Really? And this is where the 3 is enough comes in, and that's another good song that Alex sings. 1 is okay, 2 is fine, 3 is enough. Yeah. Then because the Timmermans kept spilling like food and stuff on her, she thinks it's the guy sitting next to her for some reason and dumps him and gets back with them. I don't know. And then Alex says a thing about a dream girl, and it's the cartoonist that's trying to draw them earlier's granddaughter. Yeah. And here's where Paramount Plus done fucked up. Because as I'm watching this, all of a sudden, out of nowhere in the middle of season 2, Nat's voice is deeper. They're answering a letter that says, hey, I from a girl who goes, hey, I can only watch cartoons, so you should be a cartoon. And they turned to a cartoon, and I went, wasn't this in season 3? The opening is not the season 2 opening. I'm like, this is not. And then the first song that plays is Lolo Nita, which is a season 3 song. I'm like, wait, what is going on here? It turns out there's a missing episode. And instead of just skipping over it like the other Nickelodeon shows do, like the many missing episodes of Drake and Josh that are not on Paramount Plus, they replaced it with a special that aired during season 3. For some reason, they put it here during season 2, and Wikipedia even has it down wrong as being in season 2. It's not. And what it is they just become superheroes in a cartoon. They fight Matt Pinfield, who's an evil person making everyone bald, and Alex is Bassif Man again. It's fine. The animation is not so good. I was like, they couldn't do. It's Nickelodeon, known for many animation stuff. You couldn't have done better than this. They don't really look like them. That's the season 3 episode, though. The talk show is the actual episode that's supposed to happen, as they're supposed they actually interview Joel Madden, but Alex learns that he flirted with Jesse at the Kids' Choice Awards and gets pissed off. And yeah, I can't really say much about the episode because I didn't watch it. It's not on Paramount Plus. It's on the DVD, I think, as far as I know. But I was like, it's not on there. And this is not the last time the Paramount Plus will done fucked up. Let me tell you, we'll get there. The bar mitzvah. Cooper is Jewish and he's going to have a bar mitzvah. And Tony Hawk is in the episode. And Mitchie Brusco, is that a real skater? Or I don't know. But Alex and Mitchie switch places, which no one seems to figure out till later. Bit of a convenience there. And then Nat has to go to the dentist. He has too much laughing gas. Not like Steve Martin from Little Shop of Horrors, but you know. And accidentally he spills the beans on a bunch of bad stuff that Cooper did in the video. Why didn't you stop him? We tried. And Uncle Miles is the episode where we say, "Bat, bat, Betty." After being annoyed, cool Uncle Miles shows up. Also played by Michael Wolff, because apparently they're twins. Even though there's no other twins in this family on the show that we know of, but they're twins. What it bugged me is Sonny is like, "Oh, I never beat my brother at anything." Because that's how it go. What he did. Like, oh, he was born 5 minutes. You were born from 5 minutes earlier. He's 5 minutes younger than you. And he's like, "Yeah, I never beat my brother at anything." I'm like, "You beat him out of the womb. You literally beat him to being alive, my man." But Betty falls for Uncle Miles because it was cool hair. And Sonny's going Bob back here like myself. So she ditches the honey bunnies and goes with him. And then the reveal at the end is that he's actually wearing a wig. And they take it off. And what's funny is I swear that Nat was going to curse. Because Betty's like, "I'm bald too," and takes her wig off, which is obviously a wig. And then Nat picks up the wig and goes, "What the?" I almost had to go, "Yo, what the fuck?" Because he's like, "What the?" Just the way you said that. But yeah, and the whole episode, Alex is idolizing Uncle Miles. So he realizes Uncle Miles is not a good person, and he apologized to his dad and perform a song with the accordion called "Changing." So this says concert special number 2, but it's actually the first concert special. And in this previous episode, Uncle Miles, they mentioned that Nat is going to come out on stage in a giant rubber ball thing. You could see through it and everything. And I'm like, you don't see it. Well, it's in this that he comes out and it's a concert special. We did that Big Time Rush as well. Then everyone's cried at least once. The dad is still kind of upset. This is where they're getting ready to go on the tour in episode 9. And we're not done yet. You know? It's not the one where you guys to cry, is it? There are all problems. Dad is still upset about a split from Betty, so Nat and Alex end up leaving Lucky behind to give him to Dad and to keep him company. Rosalina's father is getting divorced for the 4th time and almost doesn't make it. Time to say goodbye. A realization came to me in this episode. We'll get to it. Dave is not allowed to bring E.T. because Tubby doesn't want any dogs on the bus. And he's afraid his mom will send her to the kennel. But everything works out after all because Dad gets happy watching George Lopez stand-up comedy on TV, which Betty hated, and eating spicy food, which Betty hated. So he's doing all that stuff. And Dad and George Lopez are going to go on accordion camp together. Because, okay. Tuffy ends up letting E.T. come on because he's a nice guy. And Rosalina's dad makes it. And it's here I realized, oh, she's part Asian. Because this old Asian dude comes up and I go, that's not what I was expecting. Because I'm not looking very hard at this 14-year-old. Are you kidding me? I'm just like, and I looked like, oh, she isn't. Huh. How did I not notice that? Sorry. And then we get the episodes where they're on tour. We go Cleveland, where, like, in this whole episode, all the girls are after Matt, so Thomas gets pissed, and then he goes to Cleveland because some crazy lady over the phone was talking about how the uh, he loves girls from Venus, but it's actually but the crazy ladies thought it was Cleveland, so they go to Cleveland. All the girls like him, and they don't say it here, but they perform "Body I Occupy," and then "Girls Rule, Boys Drool," which is Thomas's song that he wrote. It's not a very good song, but yeah. The county fairs where they have to dress up to hide, and they're dressed up like bunnies, but apparently they know that they're bunnies, so they dress up like girls. Except for Rosalina, who dresses like Robert E. Lee? No, it's blue. That's Grant? It's a blue Confederate soldier. Oh, not Confederate. A blue soldier from the Civil War. Grant? That's Grant? Rosalina dressed up as a boy. It's just that as a boy, but she's dressed up as like she got a beard. Yeah. Yeah, and Alex enters a beauty pageant. And Nat and Rosalina go on a bull riding contest. I guess teased by boys. Yeah. David, Christine, and Thomas win a greased pig contest, but they grab E.T. She's not a pig, but anyway. Then we get another concert special. Then we get the season finale, the 3-part big TV movie, Polar Bears, which is cut off on Paramount Plus. Yeah, it literally, first of all, this episode is so ham-fisted. Because apparently, and this is the true story, apparently the boys saw an inconvenient truth, which is not something you should be showing to your children, but whatever, and started to care about the environment, which is good. They care about global warming, but also they take that, they ham-fist you, shoving global warming stuff down your throat, while also making you cry about Hurricane Katrina. Because this episode takes place where? New Orleans, yes, where they meet an old friend, Onita, subject of the song, Little Onita. But, yeah, it's supposed to be a different movie, but ends up being an inconvenient truth, and since Alex watched it, he wants to save the polar bears. I think he's also on the watch for Man Bear Pig, but I can't be 100% sure. Yeah, so when they get there, they meet some old friends, including Little Grace, who is hanging out with Alex a lot, which makes Rosalina jealous. And there's a convoluted plot where they think there's some kind of voodoo spell on Nat because they say that Onita is like a voodoo person. So I think there's a voodoo spell on him to fall in love with Grace. And so then Kasim wants to ask Grace out, but then they think that Kasim is going to date Rosalina. And then there's the polar bear plot, all of which is cut off and has no resolution on the Paramount Plus version. I was watching it today. And like it just ends and it goes to the next episode, which on here is another clip show, which but none of the specials here, which is a clip show entitled "Been There, Rock That," which I did not watch all the way because it was kind of annoying and it's a clip show. I don't really care, but I'm like, what? What if that special wasn't there and went from the end of that, which is cut off, to the beginning of season 3, where Nat and Rosalina are now dating, and people are like, what, huh? From what I could find, the resolution is that, let me read it again. The resolution is that, because the whole thing, which lampoons the Beatles, is that Alex, going worse with the polar bears, is that when they get there, they see that they have a big picture, and there's a little picture of Santa Claus, and Alex responds with, "We're bigger than Santa Claus," which is picked up by the mic, and so all the reporters think he said that and are wrongfully saying bad things about it. So, I got it. It's again. But, the resolution is that the little Grace's sister, Big Ella, goes on TV and says Alex loves Santa Claus, and the Santa Claus and the polar bears are neighbors. So he loves the polar bears, he loves Santa Claus, and he's not like that. And then just the mean reporters were being mean, and because after all that, it cost them their concert that they're going to and everything, and they get to have their concert, and then they get to proceed the charity to global warming, and it's something I would have loved to see is that Nat finds out that Rosalina thought he was in love with Grace, and he says, "No, I love you, Rosalina. How could she not know I love her?" And she's in the room, to which Alex goes, "She does now," because she's in the room the whole time. And so they hug and they give a kiss, and they're finally together until season 3 ruins that. But they're together because I don't think they knew they were coming back for a 3rd season, and then they did, and then they sort of. So now, season 3, which was made of specials that aired October 18th. They're not airing weekly like they used to. They're now airing sporadically. The first one aired October 18th was Mystery Girl, which I did not catch when it aired. But they're making a movie now with some director guy who's a pain in the ass. And there's a Mystery Girl who's going to be in the movie, the Mystery Girl in the movie, which has turned out to be Miranda Cosgrove because she worked for the channel as well. And they find out that actually, is this the one? Yeah. Rosalina wins a contest, which gives her a 6-month cruise around the world, which is the prize for the competition. And Alex thinks he's going to have to... So Alex first is happy about how the fact he's going to kiss a girl on page 49. Till he finds out that Juanita got the part, and then it turns out actually it's a misprint. She's supposed to kick him, not kiss him. Yeah. Rosalina goes on her trip. Operation Mojo, which aired a month later, is, Nat finds out that in the tabloids that Rosalina was kissing another guy. We'll get to that guy later, because that's some, And around a real cruise, he becomes convinced that he's lost her. So he goes into a funk, which is preventing him from finishing the movie and writing songs. So Alex decides to take him out into the wilderness to help him get his mojo back. I've lost my mojo. Unbeknownst to Nat, though, all the other people are also there in another tent with the massage chair that Nat ordered on one of those late night commercial things. But, they have Thomas dressed like a bear, and he gets his ass kicked 3 times. Poor guy. 3 times or twice? Twice. And then there's, I don't know. Kasim's cousin shows up out of nowhere. Girl cousin. Who has a thing for Nat and pretends to be the one being attacked by the bear. He gets his mojo back, and he writes a new song and is able to loop the movie. So there's a Christmas special, and this is all about Nat. There's not enough X's and O's on his card from Rosalina. It's kind of stupid. And they're going to hold a Save the Children thing, which is hosted by Whoopi Goldberg. The Timmon Brothers are back for some reason, and they're, Christmas stuff. Leon Thomas III shows up here with Natasha Bedingfield. That's right, Andre! And that's a Christmas special aired December 13th. And then on February 7th, Valentine Dream Date. So, because Rosalina's not there, they asked Nat to go on a dating game with Zac Efron and what's the other guy? Some skateboarder guy, I don't remember. But both of them pull out because their girlfriends don't like it. And then Rosalina shows up. So then Nat can't be on it. So instead, David, Kasim, and Thomas go on. And the host is and Victoria Justice is the one that's competing to go on a date with them. Oh, and there's a subplot, and this is where we introduce Abdul, who is in season 1 there was a director guy, and then there was Wing, both played by the same guy, and then Abdul, who is Jesse's one-time boyfriend in this, who's also cheating on her. I still don't think she broke up with the Timmermans either, so I don't know. But there's a subplot where Sonny, their dad, it has this, which it can be very problematic. It's an unseen dating site. That can't be legal. Because you don't know who you're dating. That's the no. But the predictable thing happens. It ends up being Betty. And he runs away from her. I was hoping they would go back together because that's no. Naked Idol, which is not as dirty as it sounds, is only half the episode. It's an hour special, but only half the episode is Naked Idol. The first half is that Rosalina comes back and gets a visit from Michelle, the French person that she smooched in the picture. And here lies the problem. And even Ali D'Amico herself has said that she was uncomfortable because she was 14 and this guy was 30. And once I saw him, I went, yeah, that's not a teenager. And they made him do a kiss. I will point out, though, this is the only thing in the show that I found to be ewy. The rest of the show, I watched the rest of the show. Perfectly fine. This is the only thing where I was like, Because even like Miranda Cosgrove and Victoria Justice was around their ages. So, close to it. So, yeah. And so, of course, Nat gets pissed. And he almost breaks the guy's finger, which is break more. But she's like, oh, he's a concert pianist. Because I'm not going to say it like that. Concert pianist. They're like, so what? Nat has... I'll keep going Nate. Nat has all the right in the world to get pissed at this dude. Right? The dude knows they're together. And they get an argument, and they break up, and she quits the band as well. And so this leads to them searching for auditions for new bass players. But that doesn't happen to the second part of the episode, and Paramount Plus has them separated in two parts for some reason. Except for Mystery Girl was one part. Operation Mojo was one part, I think. One of them was one part, I don't know. Anyway, there are three people, which is Tobin Esperance, the dude from the other dude that I mentioned earlier, and a girl named Christina, who just so happens to look a little bit like Rosalina. I'm sure that was done on purpose. She's from the Bronx, they keep saying. And so they do the auditions, and have the one dude from Simple Plan come up, and then they have Christina do it. And when it's time for Tobin Esperance to play, I don't know if they couldn't get him to actually be there that day or what. But instead, there's a weird super fan lady who looks like Cindy Williams from Laverne and Shirley, but it's not Cindy Williams. But it's still an adult woman, or maybe a teenage girl. I don't know. She looks, but who's after Nat? It's still weird. Christina wins anyway, right? Alex becomes depressed and starts an Al Expo, which doesn't go as much as he wants. And the movie ends with a cliffhanger because Rosalina ditches Michelle, who, by the way, lies about I've been hanging out with Miss Rosa all the time, which no, they haven't. She says, no, I'm too good for you, and leaves the studio. And I do love this. They're playing the song eventually. And the sun will find us all eventually. And it just kicks on when she starts running. But then you get the wah-wah ending of, now she wants to come back to the band, and they have she wants to come back to the band, and I have an issue because Christina is also there. And that was in March, right? 2009. So April of 2009, we got, really? April 11th, 2009, we got the premiere, which for all intents and purposes could be the series finale, but there's one more episode after this. I already talked about the Souptastic 6, but anyway, yeah, there's going to be a red carpet for the premiere. And now the problem is, do they want to get, who are they going to get rid of, Rosalina or Christina? Ultimately, they choose to have both. But there's also a problem because Christina had once said that she could kick Rosalina's butt at base anytime, so she gets pissed at that. And then, also, the former director of the Mystery Girl movie who was fired, and Cooper was made the director, which he's 13, I don't think he's, whatever, tries to steal the, the film, which is still filmed in 2009, I guess. But it turns out to be fake, filled with candy. But they hid the real one under a lamp, which is causing Alex's hair to go frizzy, which he thinks has magical powers. But he ends up being right about who Nat takes to the premiere. And they have their movie, and they have both people in the band. So, yeah. And then the finale. No School's Fool's Day, which aired in June and not April like I thought it was. This is the series finale, and I kid you not. Yeah. They have to pull pranks on each other, and I swear, I thought there was going to be more of drama, because he gets Rosalina, Nat gets Rosalina to pull a prank on, but he doesn't want to pull a prank on Rosalina because they're not 100% back. So then he switches with Alex. But Alex has Christina. And Alex doesn't want to pull pranks on a girl because they're too smart. Meanwhile, he and Jessie are also mad at each other because he wrote a song about Jessie when he was mad at her. And so then after he wrote a wonderful song about how happy she makes him in another episode, which is nice. It's called Jessie in that episode. So Nat pretends to be a mime to scare Christina at Jessie's idea because she thought she was scared of mimes, but she was really scared of coal mines. I might be scared of those too. I don't know if I ever go on a mine because it's just like claustrophobia and stuff. I don't know. Thank you. I have minor claustrophobia. If there's more than 3 people in an elevator, I have to take the next one. I'm not. No, thank you. I got shut in my work closet one time and I freaked out. I'm like, no. Do not shut me in anywhere. No. David and Kasim shape half of Thomas's head. And then, it's their prank. Cooper says he's not going to be involved in the pranks because he's the judge. Alex's prank. What's Alex's prank? Doesn't say. You got to get the Stinky Shoe Award. Alex's prank is, I used to pull on Rosalina. I remember what it was, but it doesn't work. Then, all of a sudden, Nat, still dressed as a mime, has to save these 3 women from someone who stole someone's purse. And it's quite obviously that 2 of them are Christina and Rosalina. It's very obvious. Something's going on here. And then Thomas, Kasim, and David all get arrested because Thomas shaved the rest of his head and he's keeping a piece of his hair for posterity. And I'm like, no, you're the hair shaver killer. Huh? And they take him into jail. And then someone posts a video of Alex saying he's the best drummer in the world. So now a bunch of drummers are not mad at him. But it turns out all of this was set up by Cooper. Because I remember, because I did watch that. I remember back in the day, I was like, oh, I think I remember now. I think it was Cooper. He's like, I'm sick of being a judge. I want to win. And I like how he's like, and I win the prize. Would you like to come on stage and accept Cooper? Yes, Cooper, I would like to. And he's like, hey. You didn't have a belt, but you know what I mean. So he won. And any episode ends on that. I'm like, that's the series finale right there. That's it. There were TV specials. There was a special in season 1 was a clip show. There was a clip show for season 2, and then there was a Supertastic 6, which aired November. So in between the Christmas special and Operation Mojo. Yeah. But the music is also pretty good. I will say, though, the music in season 2 and 3 are better. Because I feel like season 1 was... It's kids. So we have to have goofy kids, like... Kids songs like Crazy Car, Banana Smoothie, Taxi Cab, and stuff like that. And there's some, you know... But then you get to season 2 and they have more better Mystery Girl and... well, sometimes I'd be there was good in season 1. But, and then season 3 is better. But here's the thing. I had the soundtracks for seasons 1 and 2. They didn't release a soundtrack for season 3 because it ended and they just didn't do any more promotion stuff. It wasn't until years later Nat and Alex Wolf, now performing as their own names, released it under the title Throwbacks. And it's, you know, pretty good songs. And, yeah, so why did this show not go past season 3? Well, I have a friend I hear. Turns out, can we? What are they? The series concluded after 3 seasons because the network began placing high shooting demands on the family that would interfere with the siblings' schooling. So they chose school over making money. But they still do movies and music and stuff now. But yeah, the show's actually pretty good. And I'd say it actually holds up pretty well. I think. No, I've never been a fan of those kind of shows where they shoot them like that. Like I watched one episode of The Office and was like, you know, that's okay for now. I might go back to it because I laughed, you know. But you know, when it comes to that show, I was in and out. That's what she said. So I know some of the humor. But anyway, yeah, I still enjoy this show. You know, I had fun rewatching it. And, yeah, who knows what I'll do next. I just recently found out they put all of Kenan and Kel on Paramount Plus now. They only had the first 2 seasons before they have them all. So I may check those out. Who knows? We'll see. But, yeah, as goes our question, shouldn't have gone on more? Absolutely. This is no way to end. Especially the way it ended. There's no conclusion. I'm pretty sure they were going to play out like, is Nat going to... Because the whole thing was, Nat might have a thing for Christina, but there's also Rosalina. And then a love triangle thing is what they were doing. And then it just didn't... I also feel like them doing it like specials was kind of a way for the schooling to try to make it work, and it didn't work. I don't know, but, you know, it's fine. If Paramount Plus could get the episode ordering right and not cut off episodes. I mean, I understand cutting a few things out in the middle maybe, but the end of the episode with the conclusion is going to confuse people when they go to season 3? Come on. What are your thoughts on the Nick and Buzza Bando? No comment so much, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Sky, and I'll see you dancing gurus. No. Said it wrong. Dancing Garus in the next one.